Hello and welcome to another video of this course. This is Module 2, Air Pollution. We're going to be looking at the definition of air pollution, types of air pollutants, sources of air pollution, effects of air pollution, and prevention and control of air pollution. So what is air pollution? Air pollution is the contamination of the air by harmful substances, both inside and outside, that can negatively impact human health, ecosystems, and the environment. These substances can be gases, particles, or even biological matter, and their presence can cause a variety of human health problems such as respiratory issues, heart diseases, and cancer. So let's look at the type of air pollutants. Air pollutants can be gases or tiny solid or liquid particles dispersed in the air called aerosols. Pollutants are classified as primary or secondary. Primary pollutants are produced directly by a source and remain in the same chemical form after they have been emitted into the atmosphere. Examples include monoxide gas from car exhaust, and sulfur dioxide released from factories. Secondary pollutants are not emitted directly. Rather, they form in the air when primary pollutants react with each other or with other parts of the atmosphere. Ground level ozone is one example of a secondary pollutant. Some pollutants may be both primary and secondary. Some of the various air pollutants are ammonia. Ammonia is emitted mainly by the overuse of synthetic nitrogen fertilizers on farmlands and from manure and urine from livestock. It is not harmful to health directly. However, it can react with other pollutants in the air to form ammonium sulfate or nitrate salt, contributing to particulate matter pollution. We also have carbon dioxide. CO2 is mainly emitted by the burning of fossil fuels. It is potentially lethal at very high concentrations. CO2 is sometimes called an air pollutant because it is the main greenhouse gas responsible for climate change. There's also carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless, toxic gas. It is a product of combustion of fuels such as natural gas, coal, or wood. We also have nitrogen oxides. Nitrogen oxides, particularly nitrous oxides, are mostly created by the burning of fossil fuels and in lesser amounts by lightning. Nitrogen dioxide is formed from NO in reaction with other atmospheric gases. It can form into a haze and can also cause nutrient pollution in water. There's also particulate matter. Particulate matter, also known as particulate pollution, includes all airborne substances that are not gases. It is a mixture of microscopic solid particles or droplets suspended in a gas. They consist of a large variety of materials and chemical compounds, including toxic substances, and they vary strongly in size. Smaller article poses more risk to health as they can reach the bloodstream. Sea spray, wildfires, volcanoes, and dust storms are the main sources of particulate matter, while the burning of biomass and fossil fuels, as well as road emissions, are the main human sources. There's also sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is an acidic and corrosive gas. It is produced mostly by the burning of crude oil and coal. The fossil fuels often contain sulfur compounds, and their combustion generates sulfur dioxide. Another type is ground level ozone. Ground level ozone is mostly created when NO and volatile organic compounds mix in the presence of sunlight. It can also be formed from carbon monoxide or methane. It can be harmful to human health, but also to some materials, forest, wild plants, and crops. It can also react with other compounds in the air to form photochemical smog. We have volatile organic compounds, and these are air pollutants that are found both inside and outdoors. VOC is a large group of compounds which can cause photochemical smoke and form aerosols, impacting climate. Other pollutants For instance, lead can lead to learning disabilities in children. In the atmosphere, they can exist in different states, such as particles or gases. One of the form of chromium can cause cancer. Another example is mercury. In the atmosphere, it comes mostly from cement production, burning of coals, and incinerators. So let us look at the sources of air pollution. Some air pollutants can originate from human activities, and most come mostly from natural sources. So let's look at the human sources. Most of the world's air pollution is from burning fossil fuels for industries, for construction, transportation, and heating. Although humans make air pollution in many other ways. For instance, nuclear weapons, toxic gases, germ warfare, and rocketry can cause air pollution. And that source is industry and construction. The burning of fossil fuels to produce electricity causes air pollution. Lignite and coal produce most air pollution, followed by oil. The burning of fossil gas and biomass causes less air pollution. Another source is transportation. Road vehicles produce a significant amount of air pollution. Typically, for example, around a third or half of all nitrogen dioxide emissions, and are a major driver of climate change. Vehicles with petrol and diesel engines produce about half of the emissions from their exhaust gas, and the other half from non-exhaust emissions like a tire and brake wear and erosion. Diesel trains, ships, and planes also cause air pollution. We also have agricultural waste. Fertilized farmland may be a source of nitrogen oxide. Agricultural emissions and emissions from meat production or livestock contribute substantially to air pollution. For instance, methane is emitted by the digestion of food by cattle, causing ground level ozone. Practices like slash and burn in forests like the Amazon cause large air pollution alongside deforestation. We also have household sources. Gas stoves for cooking contribute to indoor air pollution by emitting NO2, benzene, and carbon monoxide. Toasters can also produce particulate pollution. Similarly, heating systems such as furnaces and other types of burning of fuel burning heating activities release pollutants into the air. Natural sources can be dust from the desert that cause poor air quality from its sources. For instance, dust from the Gobi Desert in China, which is the Mediterranean. Wildfires release smoke and carbon dioxide, and during periods of active wildfires, the smoke can make up 75% of all air pollution concentration. So, what are the effects of air pollution? Air pollution significantly impacts human health and the environment and causes a wide range of respiratory, cardiovascular, and neurological problems. Some of the effects are diseases. Air pollution has resulted in several respiratory disorders and heart diseases amongst humans. The cases of lung cancers have increased in at least the last few decades, and children living near polluted areas are more prone to pneumonia and asthma. Many people die every year due to the direct or indirect effects of pollution. We also have global warming as one of the effects. Due to the emission of greenhouse gases, there is an imbalance in the gaseous composition of the air, and this has led to an increase in the temperature of the Earth. This increase in Earth temperature is known as global warming. Excuse me. It has resulted in the melting of glaciers and an increase in sea levels. There's also acid rain. The burning of fossil fuels. There's also acid rain. The burning of fossil fuels releases harmful gases such as nitrogen oxides and sulfur oxides in the air. The water droplets combine with these pollutants become acidic and fall as acid rain, which damages human, animal, and plant life. We also have the depletion of the ozone layer. The release of chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, and hydrochlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere is the major cause of depletion of the ozone layer. And the depleting ozone layer does not prevent the harmful ultraviolet rays coming from the sun and causes skin diseases and eye problems amongst individuals. Finally, another effect is on animals. The air pollutants suspend in the water bodies and affect aquatic life. Pollution also compels the animals to leave their habitat and shift to new places. This renders them stray and has also led to the extinction of larger number of animal species. So how can we control and prevent air pollution? To prevent air pollution, we must focus on reducing emission from vehicles, industry, and energy production, while also promoting cleaner fuels and sustainable practices like recycling and composting. And we could do them in the following ways. Number one, avoid using vehicles. People should avoid using vehicles for shorter distances. Rather, they should prefer public modes of transportation to travel from one place to another. This not only prevents pollution, but it also conserves energy. And number two, to try and conserve energy. A large number of fossil fuels are burned to generate energy. So we must learn to always switch off electrical appliances when they're not in use. We can save the environment at the individual level. And we can use energy efficient devices such as CFLs also that also control pollution to a greater level. We should use cleaner energy sources like solar, wind, and geothermal energies because they reduce air pollution at a larger level. We should also minimize and reduce the use of fire and fire products. We should substitute fuel for fuel substitution is another way of controlling air pollution, right? Another way of controlling air pollution caused by industries is to modify and maintain existing pieces of equipment so that the emission of pollutants is minimized. And finally, um, we should plant trees and reduce a large number of pollutants in the air. Thank you very much for attending this class. We will see in the next module. Bye for now.